Okay, I want to give you guys an example from 5.8 that you can look at. Honestly, 5.8 is not anything new other than learning how to enter in your turning points, okay? But we're going to start by looking at how many factors do we have. Well, you look at it and it looks like there's 2, but really this one's squared, so this one has 3 factors because this factor repeats twice. And that's important because that tells us that it's going to bounce at that particular 0. Okay? It's also important because now we know we have an odd function. And then we look to see, is it positive or negative? Well, this 1/4 right here tells me that it's positive. Okay? So as soon as I know it's odd positive, I know it's going to look something like that. The arrows are going to look like that. The shape might change. Okay? It could look like that. But the shape, the general way that the arrows point is exactly the same. Okay? Alright, so then I need to look at each factor. X plus 2 equals 0, so x equals negative 2. X minus 1 equal to 0, so x equals 1. Alright, but this is repeated. Repeated twice. And that's important. Some would call it a multiplicity of 2. Okay? What that means is if you have an even multiplicity or it's repeated an even number of times, so twice, that means it bounces. So at 1, we have a 0 here. I'm going to put it in red. Our zeros are in red. At 1, and it's going to bounce off of that one. Our other zeros at negative 2. Okay? Trying to put that in there for you. All right. Now, because I know that this is odd and positive, I know that it needs to shoot in that direction and that direction, because I know that's how the arrows work. Do I know exactly what the y values are from these x's? No, I don't necessarily, so this may not be completely accurate. If you want to, you can evaluate what is y when x equals 2. Well, if x equals 2, I get 4, and 1 squared is 1. 4 times a fourth is 1. So at 2, I'm about 1. So I'm close there. And you could try 3 and you could try 4, but you don't have to do that. You know this arrow looks like that and this arrow looks like that because of the odd positive idea. Okay? Now, what I need to know is I need to know where does this turn around. I know this bounces, so this is going to come up right here. The question is where does this turn around over here? Okay? That is where you'd go to your calculator, you would enter in, and you would enter in this equation exactly as you see it here. You don't have to multiply these two through, you don't have to do anything special, you just enter this into the y equals. So you'd enter in 1/4, or you can enter in 0.25, might make it easier for you. Then you say parentheses x plus 2, parentheses, then you do parentheses x minus 1, parentheses quantity squared. Okay? And when you hit graph, it'll show you this picture, nice and neat. The only thing you need to do then is go to second calc, or second trace rather, which is your calculate button, and your maximum, local max, that's what we're looking for, where it turns around right here in a maximum sort of look. So the vertex is at the top. That's the point we're missing. Once we know that point, then we can just connect the dots and draw our thing. Okay? In this case, we know our minimum because we know we bounce off of 1 here. It won't always be like that. Occasionally, you might have to solve for the minimum on your calculator as well. All right? So, once you hit second min, you're going to go left bound, and you're going to press the left arrow until your blinking x is to the left in x terms. And what I mean by that is, this is going to have an x value, your max, wherever it is, okay? You're going to press to the left, changing the x value on your screen so that you know that you are more negative than this point, wherever it kind of sits on the screen, and hit enter. Then you're going to press to the right until you come over this way a little bit so that you know you're to the right of that max, of whatever that x value is. Then you're going to go back to where you think that is and hit enter. Once you hit enter, it should give you a max of roughly -1, -1. and I place that point right there. Once I know that point, then I can say, all right, well, this graph probably looks something like that. All right, that's kind of ugly, sorry, but you get the drift. Okay, now I've graphed it, and I'm done. That's all you're looking for. So when I ask for evidence, this is what I'm talking about. Odd, positive, number of factors, finding your zeros. Those are all pieces of evidence. You can put in 90% of the graph without ever evaluating for anything other than your zeros. Okay? So it's a lot easier than creating an XY chart, picking X values, and then using synthetic or long division or using synthetic substitution or direct substitution to find out your Y's. And then plotting those points. That takes a long time. Now that we have all these skills, we can go ahead and draw our graphs. Okay? I hope that helped.